Welcome to Uninterrupted. This podcast was merely curated with one goal: to build a community, a familiar thread to connect with like minded individuals. A community where one can find purpose, one that serves you that feeling of warmth, one where you feel you belong. Our episodes feature unfiltered, free flowing, and candid conversations with women from different walks of life who've created an impact in their own fields. So gear up to be inspired. I'm your host, Samriddhi Taneja, and this podcast has been presented by MirarByStyle.me. It is the world's first ever augmented reality technology platform that enables virtual try-ons in real time for brands in the retail industry. If you're someone who often wonders why there are fewer women in leadership positions in India, you're at the right place. If you're someone who's looking to transcend from one phase to another professionally, you're at the right place. If you feel the need to foster meaningful professional connections, you're definitely at the right place. I'm very happy to have on air Ragini Das, who's the founder of Leap Club, a powerful private network for women aimed at supercharging their professional growth. Thank you so much, Ragini, for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me here, Samriddhi. I think long overdue. I'm so glad we're finally doing this.
100%. Okay, so I'm just going to jump right into what you do today. So I saw the Leap website and something really caught my attention. It said we need more leaders and role models to become one. And I realized that so many of us get caught up in our regular motion and forget the bigger picture of what we're looking to achieve. Was Leap always your bigger picture? Like, how did it all start?
So, Leap was actually not something I thought of. Like, if you asked me 13 months ago today, Leap was not going to happen. I had no idea it was going to happen, right? And it started off with something that Anand and I used to, Anand was my co-founder, of course, and he and I used to work together at Zomato as well. And we used to keep talking about how professional networking was so broken, right? Of course, there are wonderful platforms. There are platforms for networking, for jobs, scoping or stalking people. But nothing really helps you get from, say, point A in your career to point B. A being, of course, where you're at right now, and B is maybe where you want to be in 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. It's very different for different people, right? But absolutely nothing kind of handholds you and gets you from that A to B. And I think for most people, the first time or that first phase comes within the first 5 to 10 years of their career when they actually want to move to that next level. And I think don't even know how to, right? And I remember, I think maybe 2 years ago, I was in the same space as well. And I keep talking about how days where your, bosses or your office or your workplace is going to do that for you, that's completely gone. And not just true for, I think, women in the workforce, but even for entrepreneurs, right? And now I know it more than ever. It's a very, very lonely journey. So that's how Leap started. And like I said, it was just an idea. We said, okay, let's kind of, validate this with some research. So we actually started speaking to a bunch of people. We started asking them what they do for their professional growth and what is it that they need. And at that time, by the way, Samriddhi, this was very, very age, industry, even gender agnostic, right? We were just trying to understand what is it that really happens. And that's when I think a bunch of things really, really stood out. People spoke about how important executive coaching is. They spoke about how important being mentally happy is and how important it is to actually like what you do also, because it ends up affecting your personal, professional, everything. Just the need for a stronger network of people you can not just learn from, but sometimes also brainstorm ideas with, right? Or just have that sounding board. And of course, basics like, access to industry icons and upskilling tools and just the need to constantly learn. And all of this kind of really stood out for us. And we said, okay, I think this makes so much sense because it obviously resonated with us as well. And call it a Zomato Gold hangover or whatever, because of course, I was with Zomato previously, right? That's how we started shaping all of our benefits. So Leap today is a paid membership platform. We're a private network of women leaders. I hate to say that, but primarily leaders, which basically combines network and support, learning and coaching and a bunch of these things. And our goal is clear, right? Create more leaders in the workforce. And we're starting with women. And I think why the women angle came in and how that came in, I think even while we were doing this research, I think what really stood out was how passionately women spoke about this, right? And how this is potentially, I think, 10 times harder for us for various reasons,
Yeah.
which I don't even want to kind of get into.
Yeah.
And I remember November last year, in fact, almost exactly this time, right? I'd gone for a weekly partner meeting, absolutely zero surprises. There were two women in the room, right? I mean, to think of the fact that your second largest VC firm, obviously not taking names,
Yeah.
but doesn't even invest in women-led startups. I mean, that says a
Yeah.
lot, right? And India potentially has more than 1.3 million women who earn more than, say, 10 lakhs a year. They pay their taxes. They're on their way to leadership positions. We want to help them get there. And I think more importantly is help them stay there, right? Because the drop off is something
Yeah.
that no one does anything about. And literally that's what pushed me to go ahead and quit my job and literally take one day to rest, recoup, and start full time. And now to think of it, it's almost been a year. So yeah, that's where we're at. We're almost 600 solid members across primarily Delhi, Bombay, Bangalore. We have members in
Yeah.
today in Dubai, Singapore, Jakarta, Malaysia, you name it. We have 7,000 women on our wait list waiting to join the movement. And yeah, needless to say, of course, we're just getting started. In the last 6 months of running this, because we launched on the 1st of May with 30 founding members, we've, of course, had a
Yeah.
lot of learnings, what's working,
Yeah.
what can be done better. So we're constantly trying to kind of evolve with literally just one goal in mind, right? Which is to make our members
Yeah.
win.
That's amazing. Congratulations. I mean, that sounds like, quite a journey. You've grown phenomenally. Would it be possible for you to also elaborate on how our audience or listeners could like sign up to become part of Leap?
Yeah, it's very, very simple. Our website is www.leap.club. We do have a wait list. So since it is a private network, we do all the groundwork of calling you, checking if Leap makes sense for you, if it's a right fit for you at this stage. And that's how, like, our team basically speaks to almost 200, 300 women on a monthly basis. And that's how we onboard our members. So yeah, it's just log on to our website and join the wait list, and we'll get in touch.
Perfect. I might be signing up right after. It's always, good to connect with people who are actually trying to build a community. I'm also interested in knowing what happens once you're part of the community. Like I'm aware of your huddles and masterclasses, but could you explain what the membership also entails?
Yeah. So primarily what we do at Leap is it's a private network, right? So our members get access to the overall community or the network. And unlike any other platform, these are not cold reach outs, right? It's a network. Everyone's 100% invested in not just their growth, but everyone else's growth as well. So in some sense, what you get is a strong network, a sounding board of people you can actually bounce off ideas with. And this goes obviously beyond your friends and family and immediate colleagues, and that's what they like about it. A very big part of what we do at Leap is executive coaching. So you can actually book one-on-one coaching sessions with, today we have more than 60 top coaches in India listed and empaneled with us. And this happens at exclusive member rates. And executive coaching, if you know, is also like it's 20,000-30,000 per hour. I mean, it's ridiculously expensive. So we've actually got them together at very, very lucrative prices. It's anywhere from 2,000 rupees to 8,000 rupees per hour. So, and this is exclusively for Leap members. So you can either pick a goal, or if you're not sure what your goal is, you can pick a coach basis, where you're at in your journey. And that's how you start your sessions, and you book it with them for, say, 1, 3, 5, 10 sessions. We also have some wellness coaches empaneled with us because, of course, like I said, I think being mentally happy just helps you so much professionally also. And as a part of upskilling, we do a lot of learning content. And of course, the master classes and the huddles that we do with industry icons is just one of them. So to give you an example, just sitting with Ankur Warikoo or sitting with Sakshi from Sequoia, or we just had something with Mukesh from CureFit yesterday, right? So sitting with them in the same room, learning from their experience, I think for me is a lot better than any other webinar that there is today, right? Or any other YouTube video there is today. Apart from that, we also we have an academy section. So there's a lot of learning content in terms of what is the right thing to read, to listen to. We're adding courses, we're adding lots of things in the next 12 months because I think learning has come out as a big, big winner for us in the last 6 months. So we're completely doubling down on it. We're doing, in fact, almost 100 master classes next year. So just can't wait.
I mean, that personal connect is something that's missing across, and to get access to these people is not easy, right? So first, thank you so much for doing that for
It was
everyone.
high time.
Okay, so we were at another very interesting but very sad fact. We were working on this article recently internally on what women entrepreneurs kind of bring to the startup ecosystem, and I came across some bizarre facts. And this is something that you also mentioned when we started this conversation. So only 14% of the entrepreneur ecosystem is women led, and only 2% is the percentage of venture capital.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like, while talking to women at Leap, are there any like atrocious observations or any stories that kind of have stuck by you and you're like, okay, this is why I started Leap Club?
Yeah, to be very honest, I think I'll answer that in two parts, right? I think one, people keep asking me, did something happen at your previous workplace? And is that how Leap was done, right? And we worked together briefly, so you know how much I enjoyed that at that company. And no, it didn't happen with me, right? I lucked out, maybe. I had the best bosses, I had the best mentors, I had the best colleagues to work with. So it doesn't come from there. Having said that, of course, India is fifth from bottom when it comes to women in leadership positions. Of course, like you said, 2% women-led startups get funded, and that's ridiculous to say the least. If globally we don't take pride in the fact that, okay, 20% women are in leadership positions, India is in 8%. Where does one even start, right? So, and I think, like I said, we speak to so many women on a daily basis that the stories like literally boil your blood sometimes. I mean, I was in a session today. We got Matt, who's a professor at Stanford, right? And we were on a member huddle, and this one person is just like, my boss does not even let me speak. I have no airtime. And this is someone who's super senior. She's working in one of the best companies, 15 years of experience, like literally your Harvards of the world. And if this can happen to her, of course, it happens to everyone. We decided to, of course, build this for women because, of course, like I said, it's 10 times harder. All of that is there. And you do need access to all of this stuff for your professional growth. But we also wanted to be very, very clear about what we are and what we're not, right? And with a mission like ours, to be honest, it's so easy for anyone to think of us as social charity. But the truth is, we're not, right? We're not that. Today, Leap is a paid private network. We focus on building a solid network. We focus on learning. We're also building an all managed marketplace. So all of your professional needs, so right from jobs to yellow pages to company reviews, the works, right? All of that is taken care of. I'll also be honest, I think we experiment quite a bit at Leap. But the best part is we learn from not just our 600 members, but all the women we speak to on a daily and a monthly basis, right? So in some sense, we get to see that mirror every day. That's where we're at. While the stories and the facts and the stats and all of that is there in front of us, and like I said, we all see it, but what we really focus on as a company is how we change it.
Okay, moving on, you also got funded at a very early stage of the startup. And as founders, what was it that made you, lean towards joining hands with external forces, who I'm sure are a very important part of the mission now? But what was it that made you feel like, okay, we're ready to get funded at this stage?
So for us, honestly, I don't think it was about the money, right? So it was never about the check size or all of that. But one thing we always knew was that we didn't want to build this alone. And we needed people who built businesses. And that was key, right? For us to even start thinking about who we want on the cap table or who needs to kind of be invested in this, etc. So I just feel the first question is to really ask yourself if you need that money at all or no, right? I think everyone just kind of glamorizes fundraisers so much. But what's really important is to ask yourself is it a must have for you or is it a good to have for you, right? Because I'll also be honest, it's a very, very time consuming and long process, right? And I know you all got funded, so I'm sure you know this. And especially if you're in the Indian startup ecosystem. In fact, I'm going to kind of go ahead and put my foot in my mouth and say that there is literally no science to it. and on most days there's
Hmm.
just some amount of luck involved, right? What, however,
Yeah.
does matter at the end of the day is the product that you build. And that's what
Hmm.
people, users, or in our case, members, and eventually even VCs, for that matter, will care about.
Hmm.
So that's what we wanted to do.
Yeah.
We wanted to kind of build value, and we wanted to build it with people who have built valuable products, right? And that's how we also kind of chose
Hmm.
our early angels, etc. And of course, if you do
Yeah.
need that money, it will 100% help you get from point A to point B. That comfort is
Hmm.
needed. Like if you're wondering that, oh my God, when is next month's salary coming from, or where is it coming from? That is
Yeah.
also not a comfortable place to be in, because it does not help you build the way you want to build it, right? So I think what's really important is to get that right set of investors or early stage VCs or whatever it is, depending on the business. But more importantly, people who believe in you, they believe in your product. And I also think the vision that you have, right? And not just someone
Hmm.
who just kind of gives you a big check. In fact, we said no to so many people because
Yeah.
a lot of people, of
Hmm.
course, like, this is a great mission, it'll show it, like it shows us in great light, all of that also comes in, right, with us. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think we lucked out, like I keep saying, with some of the best in the business,
Hmm.
and it was primarily because we wanted to join forces with people who can help us when we're lost, right? And that's very, very important. And eventually, of course, you need all the advice in the world from them, but having investors who trust
Yeah.
you to take the right call, because nobody knows
Hmm.
the startup or the product more than the founder does. And I think you need
Right.
people who believe in that too, right? Because essentially your analysts and your all of those guys are not taking the
Yeah.
business to the next level.
Right. Okay. So on the same note, I know, and you've also again briefly spoken about Anand when we started. You guys have worked together, and there's always this contrasting opinion on whether or not you should have a co-founder, and most people are usually on the extreme ends of that spectrum. How did you reach the conclusion of starting out with a
So I
co-founder?
think my biggest tip of my very limited knowledge of 1 year to anyone starting up
Yeah.
is 100% get a co-founder. In fact, we spoke about this at the session that we did yesterday, and it's amazing how literally no founder who's built businesses will ever tell you to start up alone. I mean, for one, it's a
Hmm.
very, very, very lonely journey, and I cannot stress enough on the very, right? But also having someone who
Hmm.
can challenge you, whose opinions you respect, is equally important. And not to say that there won't be tough days or there won't be disagreements, because oh boy, will there be lots. I have worked with this person for the
Yeah.
last 3 years, but of course, till today we have 10 disagreements in a day, right? But ensuring
Hmm.
that you all have the same vision for the company, you all have complementary
Hmm.
skills, you all are compatible as a team. And I'll just quote something that I actually read in a book called Let's Build a Company. In fact, one of our investors, Harpreet Grover, had written this book, right? And
Hmm.
he spoke about how the chemistry of co-founders literally makes or breaks a startup, right? And the clearest indication that something's not going well is when you
Hmm.
don't know what's in the mind of your co-founder. And that's not a great place to be in at all, right? And I
Yeah.
think he got that so spot on. And like I said, I completely lucked out to be building this with not just someone who's built businesses in the past, because of course he has, but
Yeah.
someone I genuinely do enjoy working with. So
Hmm.
100%, I would say, I think please go ahead and find that person. And to be honest, it doesn't have to be on day zero. So it doesn't have to be on an ideation stage, or it doesn't have to be on your
Hmm.
first day. Like some people find great co-founders literally month one, month two in a company. And in fact, two of my members have found co-founders within the Leap network, right? And this has been like 3 months into running the company or 6 months into
Wow.
running the company.
Hmm.
So, but I think just having those, maybe one other person or two other people, is super, super important. And if you have a rapport, it's just a bonus in some sense. At Leap specifically, so I basically take care of the sales and the engagement. And Anand calls himself a marketing head, but I do some bit of that also. And of course, like I
Yeah.
think there are a few things, like I said, I think marketing or hiring or fundraising, all of that is mutual. But of course, he's the product person. Of course, he's the tech person and he does that well, right? So just knowing who owns what, but also knowing that you do have one, like someone has veto over it, but also everyone has a say. And I think for me, it's not just a founder thing. For me, it's also a company thing, right? We're pretty
Yeah.
small. We're 14, 15 people in the team, but everyone in the team kind of needs to think like a founder and needs to act like a founder. And
Yeah.
that's a culture that at least I aspire to kind of build
Hmm.
wherever I work.
Okay, so based on your chats with other LEAP members, if you could say like consult an organization tomorrow on how they could promote maybe gender diversity or equality within their workforce, what would that, pill of advice look like?
I think really invest in their growth, right? And investing in growth for me is not doing a Women's Day seminar or is not giving them
Yeah.
a chocolate on Women's Day, or more importantly, not just doing this one day in a year, right? When you
Exactly.
say
Yeah.
invest in their growth, and it's not key only women in leadership positions will have access to ABC. Trust me when I say it, I think mid-career women need help more than anyone else, because those are people who will move to that next level. Those are people who will move to those leadership uh, positions. And I think that's where majority of the drop off happens. And I think when people start off, in fact, I think even when I started off, of course, like it was a 50% split, and equal number of men, equal number of women. But I think as you grow, you end up being that only woman in the room, right? So ensuring that her voice is not just heard, but companies are going above and beyond what they do today, not just in terms of flexibility or leave policies and stuff like that, but helping them upskill, right? Because I think that's something that everyone spoke about. That I have this, and they're all your typical tier one companies, etc. But giving them upskilling tools is something that everyone spoke about, that it has to go beyond giving me a Harvard subscription or a HBR subscription or a so and so certification, right? Just
Yeah.
really investing in their growth, whether that's coaching, whether that's wellness, whether that's anything.
Okay, so I have one last question before we hop on to like the last phase of the chat. What is Leap leaping towards right now? Especially in if COVID's affected, what you do, and what does it look like in the post-COVID scenario?
Yeah, so for us, I don't know if you know this, but we were going to launch on the 4th of April, and the launch
Okay.
was actually obviously planned around Feb March. So COVID did not even exist back then in our heads. So we had to pivot like pretty early. So we launched
Right.
during COVID. So on the 1st of May, when we went live, like Leap was completely offline. We didn't even think of an online world. So we had 30 days to completely pivot, completely kind of challenge our initial thoughts.
God.
And we launched on the 1st of May, and I think we started with 30 founding members. And then when this one girl, I think, post the session and post the onboarding, and she said, "Oh my God, I have not seen 15 new faces in you don't know how long." That's when I knew that,
Yeah.
okay, this works, right? Because otherwise, I was just like, I was a believer that if it's networking, it has to be offline. So I think pivoting and knowing when to pivot is super important. Of course, it's helped us so much, because today we have members, like I said, not just from Delhi, Bombay, Bangalore, but from
Globally. Yeah.
globally, from Pune, Hyderabad, Chennai, Jaipur, like literally everywhere, right? So I think it just kind of expanded our horizon and our overall the way we look at Leap today so much. And in some sense, touchwood, I don't want to say I'm glad it happened, but I'm glad we took that call of pivoting, right? And
Yeah.
of course, like I said, we experiment quite a bit, but the best part is we keep learning from these members. And the fact that they give us so much feedback is because they're equally invested in our growth, because essentially we're helping them grow, right? So the vision for us is
Yeah.
very clear. Of course, we want to make the biggest professional networking platform. We want to focus on ensuring great people meet great people. We want to focus on learning. We want to focus on the marketplace, with where all your professional needs are kind of covered under one umbrella. And of course, we started with some early convictions. We've changed our courses a bunch of times, and we will many more times. But the good thing is, I
Yeah.
think the feedback comes straight from these people, and it helps us build the product into a product that they want, right? And for me, the goal is to essentially just create a valuable product that changes lives.
That sounds like fun. Okay, this was one firecracker of a chat, but I have one last round for
Sure.
you. It's something that we introduced for this podcast, and this is something we do like across our conversation. So it's called High Five, which is basically like a 5-question rapid
Okay.
fire, like quick
Okay.
round. Okay, so tell me when
I'm
you're
ready.
ready. Okay. So if there was like one icon who could represent Leap, who would that be
Kamala
and
Harris,
why?
without a doubt. And I don't even have to explain the why.
Yeah, I got it. Okay. According to you, what's the one life hack that women entrepreneurs should always remember?
Take time off, take breaks, take screen breaks, take work breaks, take enough breaks, because I think the burnout is real. And
Yeah.
and it's very tough to do it. I'll also be super honest, and not like I do it really, really well. Because if you're an entrepreneur,
Yeah.
you know, and this is not rapid, but I do want to stress on this. But if you're an entrepreneur, you already know that you don't stop thinking about work. But sometimes we just get so involved into the micro stuff, and we get so involved into the daily rut, that we don't take enough time off to even look at the larger picture sometimes, right? And take a break is not just go to a beach and sit and get a beer, right? It's also take a break,
Yeah.
look at the larger picture, because it's going to help you, right? And like I said, the burnout is so real that it will help you just kind of last longer, right? So yeah,
Yeah.
that's my little piece of advice.
It's great advice. Okay. Top 3 international or dream locations that you want Leap to be in.
Singapore,
Yeah.
London, like not a common answer, but Jakarta. Yeah. I think in fact, like I've worked in that market, and we already have members
Yeah.
from it, and I think it's a booming economy, and those would be my top 3.
Yeah, I wouldn't have expected anyone to say Jakarta right
Yeah,
now.
absolutely. I surprise people every day.
Good one. Great, good stuff. Okay. What is the one ideal workplace quality that you think makes people stay loyal to an organization?
Like absolutely
Great.
stunning colleagues, and nothing else should. No beanbags, no leave policies, nothing. Just people. You need to love the people you work with, and that's what brings you into work every single day.
Yeah. Okay. If you weren't breaking a leg at Leap, what would you be doing professionally?
Wondering why I'm not breaking a leg with Leap. I don't know, right? I think potentially could have still been at Zomato, potentially another job. I don't know. But literally the best decision of my life. And people keep speaking about how 2020 is the most terrible year. Call it terrible and not use the word. But I think it's been my best so far. And I wouldn't have it any other way.
Amazing. Okay. So this was great fun. Thank you so much once again for doing this, and good luck with Leap. And I hope, Leap continues to grow bigger
It
and
is.
bigger.
We're on a mission.
Great.
Thanks, Amriti.
Thank you so
Thanks for
much.
having me.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. For everyone who tuned in today, thank you so much for taking the time out and listening to our conversation. If this conversation struck a chord with you, don't forget to subscribe to our podcast and share this with your friends and family. If you have a take on the topic we discussed, or if you'd like to share some feedback, please feel free to write to me. I'm going to catch you next week with yet another uninterrupted conversation. Have a great evening ahead.